I'm going to do a video that's a little different from my average video. It will still be in the topic of HVAC, the topic of service providers, but we've actually got a guest tonight. Jon has become a good friend of mine, and he's an expert on nutrition. He's an expert on all things health. And this is something that I think that a lot of folks in our field don't think about enough. It's not something that regularly talk about. However, I think that it's something we should talk about way more because I can only speak from my experience. I am guilty of sometimes just kind of taking that quick break. You drop by 7-Eleven, you grab something on the go, and you're on to the next call. Jon, if you would just go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll just kind of get this thing rolling.
I have been, man, I've just been ecstatic about my health really for a long time, but in 2008, I had a serious accident. I wasn't in great health and I shouldn't be here. So I went on this massive health journey trying to self-educate. And then I got to the place where I went and continued my education. And so anyway, I've just had a mad passion about health and fitness for many years. And I just love sharing it with other people. We're in the middle of creating a health coaching business. In the future, we'll be offering actually to other people, not just me, just telling friends and family.
Let's just, I guess, to get started, most of my audience are, honestly, most of our audience is, homeowners that are looking at buying a heating and air system, but we do have some pros and other service provider type of folks. And what would be just a general synopsis, a 10-second commercial, if you will? It might be a 5-minute commercial, but just kind of what you would tell the average Joe like me when they are working and they're probably not following a very strict regimen of any type.
I've been a contractor and done some work, and you always find yourself eating out of a box or a bag or out of a 7-Eleven, or something, and on the go. So making a concerted effort to make sure that you're eating well and probably eating number one, but I don't take it just out of on the job site or during the work day, but also we need to sleep well and things like that.
So if you and I are working, right? So let's say you and I are installing an air conditioner tomorrow and you forgot to pack lunch. And I say to you, Jon, we don't have time. We're going to walk in 7-Eleven real quick. What is Jon picking up and buying for lunch that day?
Yeah, good question. So, 7-Elevens have, there's some sandwich stuff there. I tend to lean away from things that have a lot of bread or carbohydrates. I would tend to prioritize protein, like a chicken salad wrap, vegetables, a lot of these little trays you can buy that have little tray, and maybe it's a vegetable tray with a little hummus dip or ranch dressing or something. Prioritize protein first, and then vegetables second, and then clean, healthy water.
You're not grabbing the little Debbie cakes and.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't do that.
So what are some quick and healthy snack options that one could carry and stay energized during a busy day?
If you're bringing stuff from home, it's easy enough to use some kind of low carb tortilla, put a little chicken salad in it, get you a little bag of veggies. I think fruit is fine too. Cucumbers and watermelon are hydrating, so having bottled water with you instead of a Coke is probably a better choice. So, but it's so easy, you grab something, it tastes good. It's definitely going to have to be a conscious choice. There's a big trend these days doing these salads in a mason jar. You kind of mix it all up and put it in a jar and shake it. Little things like that are fairly easy to do, that you could whip up 4 or 5 of them at a time and, just grab them and go in the morning on your way out.
So I know one thing, I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit. And one of the things I've heard you talk about more than just diet, but I've heard you talk a lot about exercise.
You literally are reducing your lifespan by not working out. And there's a definite positive benefit. It's like a 70% increase, which is insane. Exercising at least 3, 4, 5 days a week is probably the best thing that you can do to offset um, maybe a cheat day or two, or a overall bad diet. But diet you definitely should work on, but exercise really does help mitigate a lot of the big problems. Being active and eating less energy, or at least no more energy than you're expending, is a good idea.
I feel like a lot of guys would probably say, "Well, look, I don't have time to work out all the time. I don't even have the desire to be ripped, but I do want to feel better." And I think a lot of these health practices play a big role in that too. It's not necessarily about being ripped, it's about feeling better and living longer sometimes.
Getting out of breath every now and again is not such a terrible idea, but there's plenty of things that you can do with just your body weight. I've got a routine that I do in the morning that it literally is just all body movements. It can be air squats and push-ups and sit-ups and stretches and knee bends and jumps, and it can be as simple as that. So I mean, that's something that you can do. Probably just do a little. My routine probably takes me 10 minutes, and I really think that's a big piece of why I feel good and why I feel like I have lots of energy for my age. Is 10 minutes. It literally makes a huge difference.
And then what about supplements? I know that's something I've heard you talk a lot about. What's some supplements that some of these folks should be looking at? I mean, is a multivitamin good enough, or is there more to it than that?
No, I think a multivitamin ought to be the number one thing. If you could only choose one thing, I would take that. It's a close second to omega threes, because omega threes, they found now, not only do miraculous things for your body, but they also help with protein synthesis. And as we get older, we tend to not process protein as efficiently, and so turning that on is the main thing. So I would probably start with a multivitamin first, omega 3 second. Vitamin D is probably one of the things that, you know, we have the most deficiencies in. I would take that with vitamin K2, because that kind of helps with, what your body does with the D, whether it, pulls calcium and things like that into the bloodstream or back into your bones. So that makes a big difference. And then the other thing that most Americans are deficient in is magnesium. So probably those five: D, K2, omega 3s, multivitamin, and magnesium. Not in any particular order necessarily, but I'd probably start with the multivitamin if you weren't only going to do one thing. But the omega 3 is a good addition.
Okay. As we wrap up, how could folks get in touch with you? How can they follow you? I know you're working on several different things, and if they see this video and they want to learn more, how can they find you?
I've got a Facebook page. You can find it. Most everything that I have is on Instagram. It's MetconRx, METCONRX, and basically that's metabolic conditioning. And RX is just my prescription for being metabolically flexible. So on that Instagram page, I have a Facebook page for the same, and then I'll have a new group, and then I'm going to start doing group and individual coaching for people that might be interested in that. So we'll have a page that'll be advertised on all those platforms, so it'll be easy enough. But either that or just email me at jon@metconrx.com, and it'll show up in my inbox.
Okay. And we'll put a link to that down in the description as well.